Alright, so I've got a really cool technology story to share with you guys today. It's about using your brain to fly drones. This story came out about a month or so ago now, and like most things, I'm just now getting around to talking about it. But unless you're really in the know about drones and whatnot, like I try to be, there's a good chance you haven't heard this story. And I think it's something everyone should know about because I think it is some sort of technology that we could be seeing coming down the pipeline in multiple different industries, if not everyday life. The gist of the story is that a 69-year-old man was able to fly a virtual quad rotor drone using just his brain. This poor man has been paralyzed for quite some time, and using an implant, he was able to experience flight again. It's not just a cool story about drones and about technology, but it's about modern medicine and how far we have come as a species in being able to give people back some sort of freedom that has been taken from them, whether it be to disease or car accident or other sort of wounds sustained. I think it's really cool that we're able to do stuff like this. So let's go to the story, read through it together, and then we'll talk about some applications where this could be used. Alright, so this article comes from New Scientist, or at least that was the first website that I clicked on that didn't prompt me to fork over $25. I'm sorry, it's 2025. I'm not paying for your news articles. Thank you, New Scientist, for not locking us behind a paywall. Brain implant lets man with paralysis fly a virtual drone by thought. A man with paralysis was able to fly a virtual drone through a complex obstacle course simply by thinking about moving his fingers, with signals being interpreted by an AI model. There's the two-letter acronym that we come to love or hate over the past couple of years, AI. I've got a lot of different thoughts about AI and its use in technology, especially drones, which we'll talk about in multiple different videos later. But this is one of those portions where you look at it, you can see how it is being used for good. A man with paralysis who had electrodes implanted in his brain can pilot a virtual drone through an obstacle course simply by imagining moving his fingers. His brain signals are interpreted by an AI model and then used to control a simulated drone. Brain-computer interface, or BCI, research has made huge strides in recent years, allowing people with paralysis to precisely control a mouse cursor and dictate speech to computers by imagining writing words with a pen. But so far they haven't yet shown great promise in complex applications with multiple inputs. Yet. I am sure it is coming soon. Now, Matthew Wilsey at the University of Michigan and his colleagues have created an algorithm that allowed a user to trigger 4 discrete signals by imagining moving their fingers and thumb. The anonymous man who tried the technology has tetraplegia due to a spinal cord injury. He has already been fitted with a BCI from BlackRock Neurotech made up of 192 electrodes implanted in the area of the brain that controls hand motion. An AI model was used to map the complex neural signals received by the electrodes to the user's thoughts. The participant learned how to think of the first 2 fingers of one hand moving, creating an electrical signal that can be made stronger or weaker. Another signal was generated by the second 2 fingers and another 2 by the thumb. These were sufficient to allow the user to control a virtual drone by thought alone, and with practice he could skillfully pilot it through an obstacle course. Wilsey says the experiment could have been done using a real drone, but was kept virtual for ease and safety. The goal of doing the quadcopter was really kind of shared between our lab and the participant. For him, it was a realization of kind of a dream that he thought was lost once he suffered his injury. He had passion and a dream for flying. He seemed very empowered and enabled. He would have us take videos and send it to friends. Although the results are impressive, there is still much to be done before BCIs can be reliably used for complex tasks, says Wilsey. Firstly, AI is needed to interpret signals from the electrodes, and this relies on individual training for every user. Secondly, this training needs to be repeated over time as functionality declines, which may be due to electrodes shifting slightly in the brain or changes in the brain itself. So this is a really, really cool story. This makes me so happy that we as a species have reached a point where our medical technology is good enough that we can allow people who used to have so much freedom that was taken away from them before horrific injuries, especially spinal injuries, and we're able to give them back some sort of, in the very bare minimum, the ability to fly a virtual drone with your thoughts. I mean, it might not sound like much because it's not something completely practical, but even if you think of it as just a stepping stone, this is such a great move in a great direction. They say they didn't use a real drone due to safety risks and ease of use, but I would bet it would be just as easy. I'm sitting here thinking about how cool it would be if we could start flying FPV drones with just glasses and our mind. I fly FPV drones for a lot of fun. I love them, but again, I am 33. I'm starting to lose just a little bit of my fine motor skills. I don't have as great a reaction time as I did when I was a young 20-year-old, and being able to control an FPV drone with just my eyes and just my mind would be so cool. You take out so much of the lag, I guess is the best term, going from your brain to your muscles to your fingers to the controls of a drone. If you could have it just come straight from here, you'd have such a better reaction time in all sorts of flight. It would be so cool to be able to do. Because again, right now, if I'm flying in manual mode and I'm in a dive going down, say, a canyon wall, and I see a rock come out of nowhere, I have to sit there and visualize, oh man, there's a rock there. I better pull up. And then that has to process in its weird, all that has to be processed in this weird soup that we call a brain. And then I have to think about that. I have to think about all the maneuvers I need to do in order to avoid that obstacle. So that neural pathway has to go all the way down through the brain, send those signals to my fingers, so then I can just barely nudge those control sticks on the drone to make those fine-tooth maneuvers to avoid that obstacle. If we could do that just by thinking, holy smokes, that would be really cool. Now let's talk about some of the other practical uses for this sort of technology. The military, especially as it pertains to pilots. Yes, FPV drones and all drones at this point are becoming a pretty standard weapon, or at least reconnaissance item on the battlefield. But we got to think bigger than that. Fighter pilots. Think about how much more efficient fighter pilots could be if they didn't have to follow that same signal of going from here to here to here to the joystick and making the plane go like this. Imagine if, yeah, you have the manual controls as a backup, obviously, but if your fighter pilot could get into an airplane, essentially lock in, interface with it using their helmet that has the electrodes, goes onto the back of their head, wherever it's mounted, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, and they visualize everything about the plane with their heads-up display on their visor, and they're controlling that airplane with just their mind. Think about how much better reaction time we could have. Think about if just the more as this technology gets better and better, the interface you could have with your plane. It would be, I mean, describing it as something out of science fiction. I don't know how many books or movies or shows or whatever I've read or video games I've played where the pilot of some sort of vehicle essentially just interfaces with their machine using their mind, and essentially the vehicle that they're in becomes their second skin. That is the big portion of where I think technology like this could be going. If you could just interface with, and it doesn't have to be, an airplane. It can be a helicopter. It could be a fleet of quad rotor drones. It could be a ground vehicle. Think about it. If you're a tank commander and you're just interfaced with your tank and you're not worried about pressing all of the buttons and the toggles and the switches and the stepping on the pedals, everything you got to do in order to drive it, if you're just sitting there thinking about it, we could get a lot more efficient at military stuff. Which is a terrifying thought, but that's where my mind always goes with stuff like this. Even as I run this channel and I think about all of the good I'm trying to do for the world by teaching about drones and using them in search and rescue, there's always in the back of my head, knowing that the inevitable end game is more efficient combat tactics. Yeah. Scary thought, but this technology is such a cool leap forward that there's a lot of good stuff we could use it for too. We took that really dark for a second because that's just who I am. Let's think about some more upbeat, practical applications for stuff like this. Imagine if you were a surgeon and you could just directly interface with your machine that is operating on someone, and instead of having to use your hands to operate that scalpel or use those forceps or spread open the wound in order to do your work in there, if you could just think about it and say, like, again, if you just needed a smallest incision and you just think, okay, open it up 1 millimeter, and the AI controlled computer just goes boop, and opens it up 1 millimeter. That's way better than dealing with someone who has potential shaky hands, who might not hold the scalpel quite right. Maybe they're fatigued. If they sit there and just are able to think about it and take things nice and slow and methodically with just fine-tooth, minute details, that would be another huge leap forward in medical advancements. That could all be coming from stuff like this, allowing a paralyzed man to be able to fly a drone with his brain. It's all stuff that's working together. I know I'm jumping the gun on a lot of this technology. I like to think about where things are going on in the future, but I also really don't like to speculate and say this is exactly what's going to happen, because you never know. But I'm going to indulge a little bit and speculate on some of the cool advancements that could come out from stuff like this. But yeah. Anyways, that was just a fun little story that I wanted to share with you guys. Hope you're having a great February. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.